Welcome to a new IT with IT podcast.
Great to be here.
Today, we're diving deep into a really crucial technology for modern businesses, enterprise resource planning software selection.
Yeah, ERP. It's huge.
Definitely. And this isn't just, buying some software off the shelf. It's a big strategic decision. It can profoundly impact how your business operates, how you use data, make decisions, even how you grow.
Absolutely. It touches almost everything.
So we're here to cut through the noise, pull out the most important insights, and hopefully help you navigate this pretty complex process without feeling totally overwhelmed.
Think of this podcast as maybe your shortcut, getting you well-informed and equipped to make the right ERP call for your specific organization.
Okay, so what's our mission today? Lay it out for us.
Right. Our mission with this podcast is really to unpack the best practices for ERP selection. We're drawing from expert knowledge, trying to give you a clear roadmap.
A roadmap sounds good. What's on it?
We'll cover basically everything, from defining your core needs right at the start, through understanding the technical bits and making sure people actually use its user adoption, and of course, keeping it secure.
Okay, let's get started then. Where do we kick things off?
Well, the journey, the whole ERP journey, it starts way, way before you're even looking at vendor websites or demos.
Right. It's internal first.
Exactly. It needs a deep, honest look inside your own organization. Skipping that foundational work, that's a major red flag. It's actually a super common reason why these implementations, well, stumble.
Like trying to build a house on shaky ground, maybe.
Perfect analogy. So step one is defining clear business needs and goals.
Yeah.
That's your strategic starting point. It's like having a map before you start driving.
Makes sense.
Because rushing this initial phase, it almost always leads to picking a system that doesn't quite fit. And it seriously increases the odds of the whole project just going off the rails.
Okay, so if that's the map, how do you actually draw it? Where do you begin defining those needs?
The very first step, it's a detailed as-is analysis. You need to look at your current processes across all departments.
All of them.
Yep. You map out how work flows right now. That's how you expose the pain points, the inefficiencies, the bottlenecks, and where the opportunities for improvement actually lie.
So really understanding the before picture.
Precisely. Even using simpler visual methods like value stream mapping can give you a much clearer picture. The key is pinpointing specific issues. Is it order of fulfillment delays, inventory chaos, slow financial reporting? Get specific.
Okay, specific issues identified. Then what?
Then you set clear objectives.
Yeah.
Define what success looks like for this ERP project in your business. And these should be specific, measurable outcomes. SMART goals.
SMART goals. Specific, measurable.
Achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Exactly. So instead of just saying improve efficiency, it's reduce order processing time by 20% within 6 months post-go live.
Gotcha. Much more concrete.
Or maybe increase customer retention by 30% in 2 years using the new CRM features. These goals give you direction, right? They guide vendor evaluation, motivate staff, and crucially, give you benchmarks to measure ROI later.
It definitely sounds like this isn't a solo mission decided in a back room. Who needs to be involved at this stage?
Oh, absolutely not. ERP touches so many parts of a business. Getting input from all the relevant stakeholders is, well, it's crucial.
Like who, specifically?
Everyone. Executives for strategy and budget, department heads for their deep operational knowledge, the IT team, obviously, for the technical side, and maybe most importantly, the end users. The people using it day to day.
Their buy-in must be key.
It's essential. Gathering input through interviews, surveys, workshops, it fosters ownership. It helps address concerns early. And you'll find different groups have different priorities. Execs on cost, users on ease of use. You need to understand all that.
So you've gathered all this input, identified pain points, set goals. How do you turn that into something usable for picking a system?
Right. That's where documenting and prioritizing requirements comes in. You translate those insights into a clear, unambiguous list. Focus on the functionalities that are unique or critical to you, not just the standard stuff every ERP has.
Don't just list accounts payable.
Exactly. User stories can help here, framing needs from the user's view. Then, crucially, prioritize. Critical, high, medium, low, something like that. Not everything is equally important.
And that helps focus the evaluation.
Precisely. It manages scope and keeps the focus on what really matters. A good rule of thumb. Maybe around 20% of requirements end up being truly critical.
Okay, let's switch gears a bit to the money side. I'm guessing the cost is way more than just the software price tag?
You are absolutely right. Establishing a realistic budget means going way beyond that initial license or subscription fee. You have to understand the total cost of ownership, PCO.
TCO, right.
And failing to do that comprehensive financial planning, it's a major reason why, gosh, something like over 60% of ERP projects go significantly over budget.
60%. Wow. Okay, so break down TCO for us. What are the components?
Where it covers all costs, direct and indirect, over the system's life. Think 7 to 10 years, typically.
Okay.
It starts with software costs, obviously, licenses for subscriptions. Then hardware and infrastructure servers, storage, networking if you're on-premise, or hosting fees if you're in the cloud. Those SaaS often bundles this.
Right, the CapEx versus OpEx difference.
Exactly. Then, a big one, implementation and consulting fees, configuration, customization, that tricky data migration, project management support. This can be huge, like 20–50% of TCO for on-prem, or even 2–3 times the annual SaaS fee initially.
That's significant. What else?
Internal staff cost the time your own people dedicate. Project managers, IT experts, users, it adds up. Training costs, definitely need to budget for that. Ongoing maintenance and support annual fees for on-prem or part of the subscription. This can run anywhere from, say, $20K to over $500,000 a year, depending on complexity.
So the ongoing costs can really dwarf the initial purchase.
Easily. Some studies suggest annual application ownership can be 4 times the initial purchase price over time. Then you have specific costs, like data migration, cleansing, transforming, validating, customization costs, development, testing, maintenance, and integration costs, APIs, middleware, connectors. It's a long list.
Phew. Okay. Are there any costs that companies tend to miss, those sort of hidden costs?
Oh, absolutely. Several pop up frequently. Staff training, as we said, often gets underestimated, both initial and ongoing.
Right, new hires, new features.
Exactly. Unanticipated customization, usually because the requirements weren't nailed down properly up front. That's a big one. The sheer effort of data conversion and cleansing is another people often lowball.
I can imagine cleaning up legacy data is a nightmare.
It can be. Also, the time needed for process reengineering. Insufficient testing budget, very risky. Consultant overruns, maybe due to poor management or scope creep. Maybe needing temporary staff to backfill roles. And even just the temporary productivity dip during the transition. All potential hidden costs.
So how do you actually calculate this TCO and set a budget that isn't just wishful thinking?
You need to be comprehensive and think long-term. Sum up all those initial costs, software, hardware, implementation, etc. Then project the ongoing costs, maintenance, support, staff time, upgrades over that 7–10 year lifespan.
Are there tools for this?
Yeah, there are TCO calculators, detailed spreadsheets. They can help structure it. The most crucial thing, be thorough and build in a contingency fund. Seriously, 10% or even more of the total estimate, because unexpected things will happen.
A safety net. Okay, solid advice. So, we've defined needs, we have a realistic budget. What's the next critical step on this ERP journey?
Now you start looking outwards, researching and evaluating the potential vendors and their solutions. This needs a strategic approach, really. Sifting through the market, assessing if a vendor is stable, capable, and if their software actually aligns with your needs now and your goals for the future.
Okay, strategic research. Where do you even start? There are so many vendors.
It usually starts broad. Internet searches, industry associations, trade journals, maybe talking to consultants, networking with peers in your industry, see what they use, what they like or don't like.
Gathering intel.
Right. Then, as you build a list, you have to assess their viability as a long-term partner. This is crucial.
Viability. What does that involve checking?
Several key things. Their reputation and market presence track record. Customer satisfaction from reviews, references, case studies, how long have they been around. Financial stability is huge. You might need to request statements or use third-party assessments.
Can you just ask for their financials?
You can certainly ask, or look for public reports if they're listed. Also, look at their product roadmap and R&D investment. Where are they heading? Does it align with you? Check their customer base size and satisfaction, especially in your industry. And finally, their commitment to long-term support and updates.
So based on all that, you narrow it down.
Exactly. The goal is to get to a short list, maybe 3 to 5 vendors you want to really dig into.
Okay, got the short list. Now, how do you figure out if their software actually does what you need it to do?
That's where prioritizing functionality comes in hard. You focus the evaluation on 2 things. First, your core functional requirements, the absolute must-haves for your business processes. And second, any industry-specific features that are critical for your sector.
Let's start with core functions. What are the basics most businesses need?
For most orgs, the core includes strong financial management and accounting, GL, AP, AR, budgeting, reporting, that's central, human resources or HCM, employee data, payroll, benefits, supply chain management, SCM planning, managing flow of goods, Customer relationship management, CRM, managing customer interactions and data.
Inventory, procurement.
Definitely. Inventory management, procurement for purchasing. And depending on the business, you might need manufacturing or production management, warehouse management, WMS, business intelligence, BI, beyond standard reports, maybe even project management tools.
Okay, that's the core. What about industry-specific needs? Why are they so important?
This could be a real game changer. Industry-specific functionality built into the ERP significantly reduces the need for costly, risky customizations.
Because it's designed for your type of business already.
Exactly. It streamlines implementation, helps ensure compliance with industry regulations, and lets you leverage best practices for your sector. Think about manufacturing. They need MRP, shop floor control, quality management. Retail needs POS integration, omni-channel features. Healthcare needs EHR integration, IPA compliance support.
So finding a vendor with expertise in your niche is a big advantage.
Huge. Construction needs job costing, equipment tracking. Food and beverage needs lot traceability, recipe management, food safety compliance. Having that built in reduces headaches and improves fit dramatically.
It really feels like the ERP market is massive and diverse. How do you make sense of all the different players out there?
It is vast, yeah. Global spending is huge, expected to hit something like $148 billion by 2025, apparently. Financials and HCM are big drivers.
Yeah.
But understanding the major vendors and how the market is sort of tiered can help.
Okay, who are the big names people should know?
Well, you've got SAP, dominant especially in large enterprises with S/4HANA Cloud, Oracle, with Fusion Cloud for large orgs, and NetSuite, which is cloud native and strong in the SME space. Microsoft has Dynamics 365 Business Central for SMEs, finance and operations for larger ones.
Right, those are the giants.
Then there's Infor, known for industry-specific cloud solutions, often seen as an alternative, especially in manufacturing, food and bev. Workday is a leader in HCM and financials, particularly for service-centric orgs. Epicor is strong in mid-sized manufacturing, distribution, retail with their Connect platform. IFS focuses on product-centric industries like manufacturing, aerospace, energy.
There are others too, right? Smaller or more niche players.
Oh yeah, lots. Sage, Cispro, Acumatica, QAD, Deltek, Odoo, ERP Next. Each has its strengths and target markets.
I've heard about ERP tiering. What's that about?
It's basically categorizing vendors and solutions based on the size and complexity of the organizations they typically serve. Helps you filter.
Okay, break it down. Tier 1.
Tier 1 is for the big guys. Large, multinational, complex global operations, high transaction volumes often need extensive customization. Think SAP S/4HANA, Oracle Fusion Cloud, maybe a large Infor deployments. Highest cost, longest implementations usually.
Got it. Tier 2.
Tier 2 is the mid-market, generally. Mid-sized companies, maybe divisions of larger ones. Moderate complexity, often strong industry focus. It's about balancing functionality, cost, and ease of implementation. Examples. Infor Cloud Suites, Epicor, Sage, larger versions, Dynamics 365 BC, upper end, Cispro, Acumatica, upper end.
And Tier 3?
Tier 3 targets small to medium-sized businesses, SMBs. Simpler processes, tighter budgets, focus on core functions, ease of use, quicker implementation. Think NetSuite, smaller scale, SAP Business One, Sage Intacct, Acumatica, lower end, maybe Fishbowl. Understand that these tiers helps narrow your focus to vendors that fit your scale.
Does the vendor size itself matter? Big vendor versus niche player?
It definitely can. Larger vendors offer broad functionality, global support, but maybe less flexibility or personal touch. Smaller niche vendors might have deep vertical expertise, more personalized support, maybe lower cost, but potentially higher risk regarding long-term viability or R&D investment.
So it's about finding the right fit for your organization's culture and needs.
Exactly. It's not just features, it's the partnership fit too.
Okay, let's get into the tech weeds a bit. One of the first big technical decisions is deployment. Cloud versus on-premise. What are the options?
Right. That's a fundamental choice. Cloud-based, usually software as a service, SaaS for ERP, versus the traditional on-premise model where you run it on your own servers. There are nuances like PaaS and IA as cloud, but SaaS is most common for ERP applications themselves.
What factors should you weigh when making that call, cloud versus on-prem?
Several big ones. TCO, like we discussed. Cloud SaaS usually means lower upfront costs, shifting CapEx to OpEx. On-prem is a bigger initial hit for licenses and hardware, but you need to look long-term.
Right. What else?
Implementation time. Cloud is generally much faster months versus potentially years for complex on-prem. Scalability and flexibility. Cloud usually wins, easier to add users or resources. Maintenance and upgrades, huge difference. Cloud vendor handles it automatically, you're always current. On-prem, that's your IT team's job. Complex, costly.
Mm.
Many companies fall behind versions.
Yeah, upgrades can be painful.
Very. Accessibility Cloud offers web access inherently. On-prem needs more work for remote mobile control. On-prem gives you maximum control. Cloud SaaS means less direct control, more configuration focus. Security is vital for both, but the responsibility model differs.
So the trend seems strongly towards cloud, right? What's driving that?
Definitely. Lower cost perception, faster deployment, scalability, reduced IT burden. These are big drivers. Analysts see cloud growing rapidly, even in large firms. But the final choice still depends on specific needs control, security regs, existing infrastructure, budget preferences. It's not one size fits all, but the momentum is clearly cloudward.
Beyond just where it's hosted, what other tech stuff matters? The underlying technology stack, scalability architecture.
Yes, absolutely. The tech stack, the programming languages, Java, .NET, Python, .NET, the databases, SQL Server, Oracle, PostgreSQL. It impacts performance, maintenance, compatibility, even finding skilled developers if you customize.
And scalability architecture.
That's about ensuring the system can handle future growth users, data volumes, transactions, maybe new markets. It's the design modular. How's the database built for scale? If it's cloud, understanding multi-tenancy is key.
Multi-tenancy, explain that.
It's common in SaaS. One software instance serves multiple customers called tenants. Data is logically separated, of course.
Benefits.
Cost savings from shared infrastructure, easier vendor maintenance and updates, inherent scalability.
Downsides. Potential challenges.
Performance issues, sometimes the noisy neighbor problem. Security is paramount, ensuring isolation is perfect, maybe limits on customization. You need to understand how the vendor handles isolation, security, performance monitoring.
Okay, and the final big tech piece, integration. How critical is connecting the ERP to other systems?
Oh, vital. Absolutely vital today. Your ERP rarely lives alone. It needs to talk to your CRM, e-commerce platform, warehouse systems, HR payroll, maybe legacy databases.
Why is that connection so important?
It eliminates data silos, reduces manual data entry errors, provides real-time visibility across the business, automates processes that cross system boundaries. It's essential for a unified view and efficiency.
How do these systems actually talk to each other? What are the methods?
Several ways. Older style is point-to-point direct custom links. Gets messy fast, like spaghetti, hard to maintain. Then there's middleware or an enterprise service bus, ESB, a central hub. More organized, scalable, can be complex and costly itself.
What's the modern approach?
Increasingly, it's API-based integration, using application programming interfaces, usually REST or SOAP APIs. It's flexible, enables real-time exchange, relies on good APIs from both systems, though, and there are API management platforms to help govern them.
I've also heard of IPS.
Right, integration platform as a service. Cloud-based tools designed to simplify integration, often with pre-built connectors, graphical interfaces. Think MuleSoft, Boomi, or Kaido, or services from AWS, Azure, Google Cloud.
What challenges pop up when trying to integrate everything?
Common ones. Dealing with legacy systems that lack APIs. Data complexity, mapping different formats, structures, meanings. The sheer cost and resource effort to build, test, maintain integrations, ensuring scalability and performance. Security and compliance across connected systems. Potential vendor lock-in with some IPS tools. And sometimes just a lack of APIs in a critical system.
So when evaluating an ERP, what integration best practices should you follow?
First, verify integration specifically with your critical systems. Don't assume. Assess the ERP vendor's API availability, quality, documentation. Understand their recommended tools and methods. Do they have pre-built connectors you need? Ask about the ease and cost of custom integrations if required. And think about your overall strategy point to point. ESB, API-led, IPS, what fits your needs, expertise, and budget best.
Okay, we've covered a ton of technical ground, but ultimately, people have to use this thing every day. How important is the user experience, the usability?
It's paramount, absolutely critical, the human factor. You can have the most technically brilliant ERP, but if people can't or won't use it effectively, it's a failure. So focusing on user experience, UX, and usability isn't a nice-to-have, it's fundamental.
Why is it so fundamental?
Good usability drives user adoption. It reduces errors, it lowers training time and costs, it boosts productivity. It's directly tied to the success and ROI of the whole project.
How can you actually evaluate usability during selection before you buy?
You absolutely must involve your end users. Don't just rely on polished vendor demos. Get hands-on testing if possible.
And are there formal methods?
Yes. The System Usability Scale, SUS, it's a quick 10-item questionnaire, gives a score out of 100, good for comparing systems, benchmarking. An average score is around 68, so you can see how systems stack up.
Okay, quantitative data. What else?
Heuristic evaluation experts assess the interface against established principles, like Nielsen's heuristics or accessibility rules.
Hmm.
They use checklists to spot flaws based on best practices. And observational user testing watch real users try to do real tasks in a demo or prototype. This gives you qualitative insight, the why, behind problems. Best done early and often.
What key things should you look for in the UI/UX itself?
Consistency across modules is huge. Is it intuitive? Responsive design, does it work well on different devices if needed? Accessibility compliance, clear language and layout, efficient workflows for common tasks. And honestly, a clean, maybe minimalist aesthetic helps reduce cognitive load.
You stressed involving users. How do you really capture that voice of the user throughout selection beyond just the initial needs list?
It needs to be continuous.
Yeah.
Involve them in the initial analysis, yes, but then insist on tailored demos focused on your critical processes and pain points. Give users targeted questions to ask.
Make the demos work for you, not just the vendor.
Exactly. Have key users, SMEs, super users actively participate in those demos. Use standardized scorecards tied to your prioritized requirements for structured feedback. Get hands-on testing if you can, trials, sandbox access. That feedback is gold.
And listen to that feedback.
Absolutely. Establish clear channels for feedback, acknowledge it, act on it, and one great tactic, provide vendors with detailed demo scripts beforehand, your scenarios, your tasks, your data types. Forces an apples-to-apples comparison focused on your needs, not just their slickest features.
Great tip. Okay, so you've picked the system. What happens next to ensure adoption and long-term success? Implementation, training, support.
Right. The implementation phase itself is critical. You need to evaluate the vendor's methodology. Waterfall, agile, hybrid. Does it fit your culture and needs?
Waterfall being the linear, step-by-step approach.
Yes. Rigid, good for fixed scope. Agile is iterative, flexible, better for changing requirements and collaboration. Hybrid tries to blend them. The choice reflects your org's readiness for change.
And training.
Crucial, often underestimated. Evaluate the vendor's offerings, materials, methods, online, in-person, role-based. Start planning and budgeting early. Train the trainer or super user approaches can work well.
And ongoing support after go live.
Essential. Evaluate their support channels, availability, 24/7, quality, and dig into the service level agreements, the SLAs. What are their commitments on uptime, response times for issues, resolution times? These need to be clear.
We touched on this, but let's revisit configuration versus customization. Remind us of the difference.
Sure. Configuration is using the system's built-in tools to tailor fields, layouts, workflows, rules without changing the code. It's simpler, faster, cheaper, lower risk, upgrade-friendly. It's the preferred way.
And customization.
That's modifying the core code or writing new code, because configuration isn't enough for a specific need. It's complex, costly, riskier, can break during upgrades, and vendor support might be limited.
So when would you ever customize? It sounds like something to avoid.
It should be the last resort. Only if configuration truly cannot meet a critical requirement, and that unique process gives you a distinct competitive advantage that justifies the cost and risk. Don't customize just to mimic old, bad processes. Adapt to the ERP's best practices via configuration where possible.
What are the main risks, again, if you do customize?
Increased cost and time, huge upgrade complexity and cost, ongoing maintenance burden requiring special skills, risk of system instability or bugs.
If you must customize, any best practices?
Exhaust configuration first. Rigorously analyze the business case ROI. Document everything meticulously. Test thoroughly unit and integration testing. Design for maintainability. Follow vendor guidelines. Use strong change management. And understand the upgrade impact up front.
Okay, last major area, security and compliance. ERPs hold critical data. How do you safeguard that investment?
Non-negotiable. You need robust, multi-layered security. Verify the features. Access control, role-based access control, RBAC, these privilege, strong authentication, multi-factor authentication. MFA is basically mandatory now. SSO integration is good.
Data encryption.
Essential. At rest and in transit. Using strong standards like AES 256 and TLS. Robust key management. Comprehensive audit trails and monitoring log everything. Integrate with SIEM tools if possible for real-time alerts. Patch management process vendors for SaaS, yours for on-prem. Network security for on-prem firewalls, ADS piece, API security for integrations, and solid, tested backup and disaster recovery plans.
Cloud versus on-prem security is one inherently better.
Different models. Cloud vendors have huge resources, but it's a shared responsibility. You rely on their practices too. On-prem gives you direct control, but requires significant internal expertise and investment. Neither's inherently better, just different risk profiles and management needs. Security's ongoing patching, reviews, monitoring, training.
And what about meeting all the regulatory compliance rules?
Equally critical, your ERP needs to support the regulations relevant to your industry and geography. Non-compliance means penalties, legal trouble, reputational damage. It's serious.
What are some key standards ERPs often touch?
Lots, depending on the business. Sarbanes-Oxley, SOX for financial controls. High PA for healthcare data privacy. GDPR for EU personal data. SOC2 for service providers handling customer data. PCI DSS for credit card processing. Plus, industry-specific ones, traceability in food, quality manufacturing, project accounting, and construction.
Does the ERP make you compliant?
No, it provides tools to help you achieve compliance, doesn't guarantee it. Key features are audit trails, access controls, encryption, sometimes specific reporting or functionality for certain regs.
So when evaluating vendors,
Confirm they understand your regulations. Verify how their features facilitate compliance. For cloud, ask about their certifications, SOC2 reports, IPA, PIBA availability, ISO 27701.
so it really is a shared responsibility then.
Absolutely. The ERP is the platform. Your organization must implement the right processes, configure it correctly, train users, audit yourselves, and maintain compliant operations. The software is just one piece of the puzzle.
Wow, okay. Choosing the right ERP is definitely a major undertaking, but clearly has huge potential. We've covered so much today, understanding needs, financials, tech, users, security, compliance. It's really not just buying software, is it? It's a strategic investment.
Exactly. A strategic investment in your future operations and growth. We really encourage you, as you go through this, revisit these points. Ask the tough questions internally. Get your stakeholders involved deeply. Don't shy away from the details.
Because getting it right up front saves pain later.
Significant time, cost, and frustration down the line. A well-informed decision now really pays off.
Well, thank you for joining us for this IT with IT podcast. It's been incredibly insightful.
My pleasure.
For everyone listening, if you want more in-depth information and resources on this, be sure to check out our blog. We'll be diving deeper into specific aspects of ERP selection and other crucial IT topics there. Thanks for tuning in.